We're back.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's like 3 weeks ago. Maybe even longer than that. We survived. You survived. You're here. You're alive.
I did.
You
I'm
check
here.
in safe. Did you mark safe?
No, I didn't do
I'm
that.
going to try to make as little offensive remarks as possible. I'm going to edit. I did a vlog yesterday. I'm going to edit myself just to be safe. Like real safe, not hurricane safe. And make sure I don't offend people.
To be safe, like you want to cut things out, or you
Well,
don't want other people
I just
cutting
want
things
to.
out?
I want to watch back, just to hear my tone, because I can be a little condescending at times.
Gotcha.
Or so I've been told. I can even detect my own, my own condescendingness. So, yeah, we'll cross that bridge tonight when I edit that video. But we'll have a hurricane update. There was no hurricane here. We didn't get anything. So in Orlando, quite a bit of flooding. So I don't think we would have had any flooding anyway, because we have, it's pretty rural and there's tons of retention. But there's been, there's 3 inches of water on some of the streets that can pour into your front door and can create a real problem. Yeah. So, but nothing. No issues. Cala got even less in the villages.
Yeah, we had some palm fronds down in my yard and lots of wind, but that's a good thing about being inland.
Not on
the coast.
By the time it gets there, the eye wall's generally broken up to some extent. What I don't understand is how are they calling it Category 4? So when the eye wall breaks land or hits land, and it's just kind of watching the news here and there. So the eye wall hits land. I mean, what were the highest gusts recorded in Fort Myers? Those areas were like 100 miles an hour. So it wasn't wind. It was water. This one just dumped so much water because it moved pretty slowly. So like Category 4 means not gusts of 135 miles an hour. It means sustained winds of 135 miles an hour or greater. And so like we never even got a single hurricane gust, let alone the wind. So this really wasn't a wind problem. I don't think there's a lot of roof damage. I don't think there's a lot of building structure damage other than flooding. And so this was some areas dumped 2 feet of water, which is insane. A lot of rain is like an inch, right? So to get in crazy amounts of.
I like going to these pictures where it shows you the before and after, and you can see how much water is there.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, but other areas the water got sucked out of Tampa, which was supposed to get a direct hit. So when you're watching this, most people aren't here in Florida or haven't experienced this kind of thing or live in the Southeast. When you're watching this sort of thing, you need to keep in mind that. So let's take Orlando for example. The Orlando news is going to go around looking for the most sensational story, right? So they're going to go around looking for the most flooding. They're going to look for the most damage. They're going to look for the most, trees down, stuff like that. They always like for example, I'm driving down my street here and an oak tree fell just from the water. Ground softening, old tree fell in someone's yard. So that's the only thing on my street that there's anything, right? And so if you were on the news, where would you set up the camera? You'd stand in front of the downed tree. And so then the downed tree would be what would be, you would assume if you're watching from afar, well, shoot, everybody has trees down. Well, there's one tree down in the entire area. And so take that in Orlando. So they're looking for the worst, take that in Fort Myers, take that everywhere. They're looking for the worst of the worst. And so all the local news shows the worst. And then imagine, then it gets distilled down even more. So the national news is only getting like the absolute worst of every city, every death, every lifesaver. So it is an event. It is something that, you should always take care, especially if you're right on the water. If the water level rises, it takes out your house. I mean, that's the risk you take. That's why insurers generally don't insure on the coast anymore. But in general, especially like this storm specifically is not, was a flooding event. And so the thing that really feels sorry for people is that, if their house gets flooded, I mean, just the pain of trying to fix all of that. Like no one's dying from that. You're not, as long as you're not staying on the ocean side and getting sucked out to sea. Florida in general, you have to keep in mind that Florida's flat. And so when the water ends up in the streets of Winter Park in Orlando, there's no rushing water, or very little, right? It's just stagnant water. that, let's say it's knee-high stagnant water, can cause all kinds of property damage, but that's not killing anybody. So you can walk through it. And so, whereas if you're in, like, let's say you're in Kansas City and there's elevation change, people get swept away in flash floods because there's, the water's rushing to where the low spot. Well, there is no low or high spot, or very little of that here. So, everything's flat. And so when Venice Beach, Florida gets flooded, it's water stagnant in the streets. So when you guys are seeing, oh my gosh, let me check in on Matt and Chris, just know that they're sensationalizing it, just like everything, just like COVID, just like, think about it. If you're a newscaster, what would you do? You want to just stand in front of a yard that's fine? No, you're going to go stand in front of the carnage. You're going to find the most carnage you can find. When that gets distilled down, it becomes problematic. So, right. Anyway, I'm just being authentic and realistic here, not the other thing to keep in mind. And then that gets distilled down to people. So all the people are only taking Instagram stories and Facebook posts of the worst that they found. And then nobody ever goes and follows up and shows when it's fixed, which a lot of this stuff will be fixed in days or weeks, especially in affluent areas where they have the resources to go and fix stuff really quickly. And so there's no follow-up on that. There's only follow-up on the the worst of the worst. And so just what I'm getting at is, when you're watching this stuff, just keep that in mind. It's very different now. Hurricane Andrew, and when did Hurricane Andrew hit? In like the late 80s?
It was early 90s.
They didn't know, right? It just Category 5 just showed up and wiped out all these crappy constructed homes. Killed tons of people.
Yeah, 92.
Yeah, 92. So construction was much, much different. The forecasting was much, much different. I don't know the whole story of Hurricane Andrew, but I think that it was one of those things where, like, no one expected it to hit where it hit, and no one expected it to hit when it hit, and so it took out all kinds of stuff.
Somebody told me I should look at LZ's. I guess
he's got 2.5 inches of water. It's not 2 feet. It's not 20 feet. He's got a few inches of water, and it runs into one of the buildings. So that's not like, what do they say? He got hammered. So one of the buildings, that's Drift HQ, where they had extra boxes and stuff. Water gets in there and messes everything up. Luckily, his buildings are metal, and a lot of them don't have drywall, so he won't have to do anything other than just air it out. But if you get that water in your drywall, you got to rip it all out, because we'll get mold like immediately. And the other lucky thing we have is it's not hot, right? So generally the hurricane comes through in the summer, and then let's say it was 95, usually not right after the hurricane, but like a couple of days after, we're going to be, right now it's in the 70s, and so we got really, lucky. So the few people that are without power, and that was a really positive thing this time, is that all these people without power, the people without power aren't struggling as roughly. It's not as rough as it normally is, where it's 95 or 98 degrees afterwards and you're dying. So anyway, that's the real on this whole hurricane thing. So don't get too excited. Yes, there are some people that have some severe damage. That's always the case, but it's not as, like, people up north assume that every single person is screwed, and that's not the way it goes, especially in the center part of the state, especially in areas where it didn't even go through. Destin got nothing. Tampa got almost nothing, right? Actually, Daytona got hit way harder than Tampa did, but it wasn't a high wind event, so that was the really positive thing. So the high winds meant that most of the power outages are from downed trees, just old oaks, from being wet, and some gusts, knocking stuff down, branches down, and stuff like that.
All right, let's get to some questions here. Let's see. Oh, Philippe wants to know. This is good. I'm glad you asked this, Philippe, about how the weight loss challenge is going. So, Matt, how was your weight loss?
I don't know. I haven't even checked. I'm down whatever I was down to start, so I'm about the same.
So you're about, what did you start at? Let's see. 250.1.
Yeah.
Then you drop down to 237.2 at your lowest there.
Yeah, that's about where I'm at right now, so okay. I'm still the same.
Yeah.
So I'm probably still up there.
Let's see. If you are there,
yeah, I am.
Be in 1, 2, 3, about fourth place. Yeah. Fourth or fifth place.
So I'm doing good.
But he hasn't weighed in since
I
August.
gave up. I'm working. I'm having fun working out and hiking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to be cutting major calories, so I said, screw it, and
Gotcha.
let you guys have a win for once.
How generous.
Is it over?
No, Monday.
Oh, so Monday. I could do a real cut. I could do a.
You're welcome to try.
How many pounds would I have to lose to win?
Let's see.
Could I do like a weekend weight cut?
Let's see. That's good. We can do the math real quick here.
I'll probably quit on that.
Riveting.
Too.
All right, so you started at 250.1. So let's say you get down to 230. Yeah, you're still behind Wabo there. So
okay.
228. Nope, still behind.
That's only 10 pounds.
225. 225 would put you in the
So
lead.
if I cut like 12 pounds,
yeah.
I mean, weight,
it'd be 226-ish is what you.
I mean, MMA guys, boxers, they cut 25, 30 pounds.
You can do it then. I think you should try.
I'm gonna do some research and do a weight cut, weekend weight cut.
Yep. So you need if you are allegedly at 237, you need at least 11, 12 pounds. So probably closer to 12 by Monday morning.
That would be fun. How much money do I win?
You should vlog that.
$300?
Yeah, it's around $300, I think.
Yeah, it's not worth it. I'm gonna eat some junk food instead.
That's good stuff. All right. Yeah. Any thoughts on LZ's accident? You were there, weren't you? You saw kind of the aftermath.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't at the Dragon when he crashed, but I saw him afterwards. He's a racer, and a drifter, so he didn't give a. It was like he just sad about his car a little bit, but he's got 40 cars. So he wasn't. I mean, Colette was more shaken up than him. He was fine. His wrist was jacked up. Like, he didn't break his hand from the airbag blowing it off. But the other thing that sucked for them, they're up there for like 3.5 hours standing on the side of the road. And there's some shadiness, like the people driving, like obviously, what the heck were they doing? And then the passenger like disappeared because they must have had a warrant or something out on her. They're like, where's the passenger? Like, I don't know what passenger. Then they were like, we don't really know her. And so she disappeared, and so it was a bit of a cluster. And so the car is, he doesn't want the car one way or the other. So, but the car will likely be totaled. The big problem for him is that that car is worth like $280,000, high twos, and so in the current market, I mean the sticker on it's like two something, low twos, but it's it's worth a significant premium. And he has Progressive on it, and she has Geico on it, and so those the insurance is going to be a struggle to get actual market value on it. He's probably not going to get that. He's going to fight for it and try to get it as much as he can. But that's the part that stinks is that he was you saw the video when we're on the Dragon we're moving but he's going from probably 40 to 0 stopped. Lock up the brakes, or not lock up, but ABS engage. So he's hard on the brakes, and it's probably one of those things where, if he was going 25 instead of 40, you probably could have stopped in time. But it's one of those things, and the Dragon is a tough spot because it's a great road, but there's lots of weird, lots of goofballs on there driving regular cars and stupid motorcycles, and lots of people not knowing what they're doing. So, I mean, it could have been a lot worse. The person was a few feet from going off the cliff, off the edge of the mountain. So,
scary.
Yeah.
Philip, our buddy Philip Z in North Carolina, who won. What did he win? Which giveaway? I forget now. He won something. Good afternoon from North Carolina. Wind and rain picking up here a lot. Yeah, the storm is headed your way.
Yeah, so now they'll be, marking themselves safe.
On the Weather Channel.
They'll be just freaking fine. Yeah.
Rob says he wants to know, hey, Matt, any reason you went with Google Nest for security cameras? Figured you would get something from Unify or Business Grade Solution.
Yeah, I don't need that. I just need to plug something in. I don't give a crap about that kind of stuff. I have zero interest in it. I just needed a camera that I could look at, and I needed to be able to install it in a short period of time. And I have, a Google doorbell cam at my house. I mean, these are same thing as Amazon Alexa. They're at that level of quality. But this is, I say this often. I mean, there's things that if you value it, you shouldn't be doing some janky, highly marketed crap. well, this is kind of janky, high marketed crap, but I don't want to be cutting walls and cutting drywall to run, Ethernet to where I need to get it to. The security system, they pre-wired for the whole thing, but they did an old school like control wire, not Cat 5 wire, Cat 6. So the old security system in there didn't account for cameras, and so there's no cameras wires run. So the Google stuff I can just stick on the wall with a battery in 5 minutes, and so that's why I chose that stuff.
I need to get back to Philippe's question real quick. He asked about the weight loss challenge. So Waba is in the lead. Okay. He has lost right around 20 pounds, starting out at 219.6. I'm in second place because we're doing this by percentage. So I've lost 22 pounds, but I'm behind by percentage. And then Manny is close behind. And he was already losing weight. Let's see, 246. So he's down about 16.6 pounds.
Yeah.
So
I think I could launch this if I did a weight cut. Maybe you better do a weight cut this weekend.
Not doing a weight cut.
I'm sure there's YouTube videos on how to cut weight. I need a sauna and an air bike.
Some garbage bags.
Garbage bags, yep. Yeah. Some Epsom salts. Don't you take an Epsom salt bath? Isn't that what they do?
I don't know.
Pull the water out of your body.
So, Waba's he's on track right now. We'll see what happens Monday morning.
I'll make a decision. I'll decide.
We've got a super chat from Spencer, our buddy up in the Dakotas. Matt, are you planning on going to SEMA this year?
Yeah, I'm going. I got the hotel. I'm waiting on to see what happens with plane tickets. Plane tickets are insane. It's like even for like a regular, not just a regular cabin seat, $700-800 to get there.
Southwest flight right now for $249.
All right. Well, that's why I said Tommy's got to figure out how to get them. So he'll be coming to you to get a flight because I might have to pony up some cash.
I'll find you a good one, Tommy. Then he says also, this is my first year going. Also, would you ever have any ambition to have a training/class for paint correction and coating like others do?
No. I thought that I was headed toward training stuff. That's a big part of what I originally thought until I realized I don't like that. I don't like to have to entertain people and be like on. It's exhausting. So I'm not doing that. And so I'm not doing that.
Nate wants to know, do you have an idea where is Destination OG 2? Still on 1, Nate. Slow down.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. It'll depend on the house. The lesson I learned from Helen is that, I can pick an area, but I'm looking for something special, especially since I'm not building it. And so, my initial reaction is I would love to have 2 be in Highlands. But I don't know that it's going to be practical to find a really great house in the Highlands. So I'm thinking Destination OG2 would either be on the beach here, so like New Smyrna, which I'm second guessing after seeing some of these beach houses get destroyed. Do you want to deal with insurance and all the work and all that stuff, the risk, of having that happen? It's unlikely, but the risk of that happening. And then, or on a lake, in the mountains.
Somewhere near some water.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm probably going to do another mountain house because I'm not going to be able to stay in Helen. I'm going to want to go to the mountains. So I'm making huge strides in my driving. So,
nice.
As soon as I start driving, I'm going to be up there all the time driving around. So that's going to make the mountains even more appealing to me, to be able to just even go up there by myself and just go rip around those roads without any event or agenda. That's the dream. That's the goal. And so I would think likely Destination OG2 will be in the mountains, next. And then, I have my sights set on, something in like Montana would be super sick. And then who knows what other areas. Once I get 3 or 4 or 5 of these things, then maybe I need to start visiting areas to find, all kinds of great areas in the country to go to. All you guys are always saying Coeur d'Alene, but I don't buy it. I was there, and it looked like death. So everybody was saying that's just because of the time of the year, but I just think they don't know what really nice is.
Max wants to know, hey Matt, have you seen the Lock Inflate or Jayco Lightning Air Chuck?
Have not. No. Mm-hmm.
All right, Improved Garage has a super chat here, $4.99. Thoughts on P&S Absolute?
I'm not sure what that is. I mean, I know it's a waterless wash. Would it be like a McKee's and O&R competitor? I'm sure we'll get some of it at some point. I'm not sure what the benefit is if it's just another rinseless wash.
It says polymer-based wash, multi-use formula, enhances gloss and slickness, reduces water usage.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't want the enhance part. I don't want that in my waterless wash. I want to add that on my own, and then have, because they have the ability. The beauty of McKee's, you can wipe counters and cabinets and all kinds of stuff down. So I don't know. I'll have to try it. Or what I'll probably wait for is people who are. I'm not an expert in waterless washing, so I'll have to figure that out.
That's no. Kyle does rinseless. That's the different, right?
Yeah. So I'd be, I don't have any ego around. If someone tells me something's great, I mean, I have to make my own assessment of it. But if somebody tells me something great, that will influence me for sure to at least give it a shot, and then I'll fight for it a little bit more if it's something I don't like, and so, or something I didn't think of. I don't have to be the author of all this crap. In fact, I'm the author of only some of it. So I think I'm not super enthused about replacing something that I have that works pretty well.
All right, our friend Blend Mountain's checking in. Says, "Hey Matt, hello from Cotati, California. You see your mail? You got a Blend Mountain thing?"
Yeah, I just bought one. I figured I owed it to Sebastian. I'm always asking, always texting him. He's sending me free ones. I bought one. So I bought a blend mount and a hardwire kit. It just showed up for the M2. We'll be doing that next week.
Let's see. Tyler Bethauser says, "Does OG do its own IT and analytics stuff, or do you typically bring in a consultant for that kind of stuff?"
We do our own. So Bryce does it mainly.
Ken Ping wants to know, do you have any plans for another OG open house in the fall?
Yeah, I think we'll probably do it, a little bit closer to the winter. But yeah, I'd like to have another one at some point here soon. Places coming together.
All right, D-Chop wants to know, is the American Racing Headers exhaust system without the headers still the best solution for the E92? I'm scared about doing headers on it myself or a shop.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I would think it's probably pretty good. The only problem with it is not super attractive. It's not a great looking exhaust. The tips are a little old man looking. I'm guessing it's probably pretty good, but I'm not sure. I haven't heard of anyone with it.
And we have Ken says a first class ticket on Delta from Gainesville to Las Vegas is $3,800.
I know. It's like $2,900 from Orlando.
That's crazy.
I don't understand. Should be like $800. So, and I'd search all the airlines, like all of them, and even Southwest is probably $1,000 for a crap ticket.
All right, we'll check on it here in a minute. Caleb Hill, super chat, $19.99. What is the OG spec paint depth gauge?
DeFelsco. The DeFelsco, it's like the Posi Tector 2000 with like you need a separate probe. I've got one of them that's like $3,500 or something like that. The reason why it's that one is because it gives you the multiple coating. So it gives you the base layer, the color layer, and the clear coat within some level of error, and then it can do plastics. It can do carbon fiber. It can do aluminum, other things.
All right, let's see. RT wants to know, will you be adding additional giveaway items?
I don't think so. I'm pretty people complain about it no matter what you do, but I'm pretty pleased with our choices. I think that we have some cool stuff. You have to remember that the giveaway, people are like, well, I wanted to buy some flooring. I said, well, you're going to buy, most people are going to buy flooring already, and for me to give away a $150,000 car, there's not enough profit in it. Then I'll just go broke, and we wouldn't do giveaways. I need giveaways to be things that we wouldn't otherwise sell. So I need to generate additional sales. Not just cannibalize current sales and give away something.
That's kind of what happened to us.
Yeah, we tried that. I said, well, let's just open up all of detailing and all of apparel, and so then we didn't sell anything detailing for like 2 months after that, and that was a problem. So I would love to do that, but it just doesn't work.
Well, let's see. Oh, Philippe has an idea. Of course, our Canadian friend. How about Destination OG Canada, Lake Louise in Alberta?
I mean, that's if I go on vacation ever, that's where I'm going. If you idiots from Canada would let us in there, You guys need to get that goofball out of power, and I think you have a couple more years left. But, I wonder if they've given up on the whole vaccination nonsense. Is anybody going to admit it finally? Are they going to finally admit it? Or are they just going to keep holding on to it? I think we're going to keep holding on to it for a while. And then eventually they won't apologize. They're just going to kind of let it go. All these goofballs.
All right, Max, going back to New Smyrna, says you'll find non-Florida residents be scared of visiting New Smyrna because of the shark attack history. Good. I'm supposed to be there next weekend, so hopefully they won't be.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. How many shark attacks have there been? Why don't you Google that? 3?
I'll look that up.
In history? Yeah.
I've been fortunate. I have not been bitten by a shark yet.
Yeah.
New Smyrna. Philip says, I'm looking for a hose reel that does not need to be mounted on the wall or on a cart. That would work with the OG hose. Do you have any suggestions?
Yeah, the 100 series from Cox it's like a little pedestal thingy. That's what we generally do.
All right, our own Nathan Miller, next door in the Arm Building. He's from Utah. He says, check out Park City, Utah for some serious mountain houses.
Yeah.
Have you been there before?
The thing I wonder is I don't know that the formula works for like $5 million homes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know that the math would work. Maybe it would. I don't know that. I'm just not sure. I mean, because then if you have a $4 or $5 million house, you're going to have to be like $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 a week.
It's pricey.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we'll try one at some point if I get super rich. But I need to be able to do this knowing that I could still have the house even if no one, borrowed it. And actually, somebody's there right now. I don't have my phone, but he said the garage is. He says the garage is almost overwhelming, and he said he has a feeling he's going to be spending lots of money. So that's the goal. That's the goal here.
It worked.
Yeah. So he's there now for the weekend. He talked me into this about. He's the only guy that I said yes to in the very beginning. When I was freaking out, not knowing if we could afford to pay for this thing, and so he booked 2 weekends for $5,000. But I can't do that because then that ruins that ruins 4 weeks, right? So when somebody does a weekend, it kills 4 weeks.
Matt has a suggestion. Matt Radford in the chat. Asheville would be a good spot for DOG2. Lots of great driving the Parkway, plus great food and other fun stuff to do for families.
Yeah, I look at a lot of houses in Arden, which is just south. It's a community plan development. It's just south of Asheville. That would be where I would target, which is just north of Brevard. Brevard has awesome whitewater rafting, mountain biking, all kinds of cool stuff. And then we actually spent a lot of time over on 215 and 276 Blue Ridge Parkway. So there's some different roads. There's Pisgah National Forest there. There's a lot of cool stuff on the east side of the Carolina Mountains. Plus North Carolina is a better tax base too. I mean, you could buy a $3 million house and have a $4,000 a year tax bill. It's a lot less expensive property-wise to maintain.
All right, Dune Wild says BBE Billy Boat exhaust has been the best exhaust system I've used by far. I've used ARH, Texas Speed, etc. Have you heard of it?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, Billy Boat is much more American car stuff. Just like ARH, it just happened. ARH just got lucky, happened to make a good exhaust. I don't know how to phrase it. I don't know. They got lucky. We got lucky they took a German car and tried to make an exhaust for it.
Brandon wants to know if you are open to testing giraffe tools.
No, I can tell you just by looking at it. It's garbage. Just take one look at it.
All right.
I don't need to.
Max wants to know, is there any chance for an OG spec, the Bays, like Car Supplies Warehouse is doing in Illinois?
No, he'll be shutting that thing down, I bet, in no time.
Oh, is that like
so this is the car guy's dream. Right, every single car guy, every single person that I've ever talked to that hasn't that hasn't gone down this path. The dream is you're gonna get a big warehouse, cheap, right? It's always cheap.
Cheap warehouse.
So you're gonna build it or you're gonna get it, and then you're gonna sell spots. You're either gonna sell like one concept is I'm gonna have like a common workspace that people rent out. The problem with this concept is that the people that you would want to do it already have the money, so they already have their own place. So then you'll only end up with people that don't have any money. Right? Now, it's a major metropolitan area, the apartment dwellers, there's people that have some money, or at least have credit cards, that have apartments or they live in condos and they can't do with their cars what they'd like. But that's pretty rare. I mean, there's a pretty rare thing. So you can do it. You can do these things, but it has to become your full-time job. You have to market the heck out of it. Now, Jason and the guys up there at Chicago Auto Pros, they might be able to pull it off because of their reach. But generally speaking, these things don't work. The math doesn't work. And then you have to make it cheap and janky in order to make the math work. It's the same issue, like I think with the we struggle with renting other people's homes because they have to keep it cheap because they have to make the math work. So they can't be buying Japanese steak knives and 77 OLED TVs. They can't be doing that. So they got to go to Walmart and get themselves a Vizio and just use the TV speakers. And keep the basic cable. You can't be adding Netflix to this thing. You'll all use your own login. And then they got all these rules about how you have to basically clean everything up and fix everything. You have to do everything. Of course, nobody does that. But then they keep the cleaning fees and all that stuff. So it's the same thing with this whole concept of garage condos, guys with garage condos. There's plenty of successful ones around, but those are from the people who really work their face off to make it work. So, Jason might be able to pull that off, but it's not a passive thing like all guys think that they can do. You would have to have a marketing engine in order to be able to pull that off. And so their concept would be very similar to my concept of Destination OG. They probably don't need the place to make a bunch of money because they're going to use that place for content. They're going to use that place to show off different products that they're representing. They're going to use that place to test things. And then they can always use it for overflow for detailing if it doesn't get booked. And so the concept is you book time to come and detail your car if you don't have a place to detail. And then, of course, they'll do events and drives and things like that. But again, that's work. That's a lot of work. You got to market the heck out of it. And then it has to be great. So, that's a hard thing to know what is great. That facility. So to make it great costs a lot of money. And when you spend a lot of money to make it great, can you charge enough to make it so that people will show up? That's the conundrum. So I would say in most instances it doesn't work. So I'm actually going down to the Enclave here next week. And I was kind of interested, so the Enclave is a track. It's a club, a track with like a big, conference center and stuff. Of course, I'm sure I guarantee you have some stupid douchey cigar bar. They've got some stupid douchey coffee bar. No one's going to use any of those ever. And so these start at like $400,000 for these garages. And all it is a lean-to. It's just an empty building, like an empty square. And so the units are like 16 feet. Well, I think it's like $295,000 for like a 16 by 20. You can't even do anything with that. That one there they're showing you, that would be like $1.2 million or $1.3 million for a square building with nothing in it. So I'm gonna go and check it out, but I think it's gonna be, but people are paying for it. But that is like a full, they have a CEO. They've got a lot of investment behind them. That is like a real, they've got employees. They've got marketers. They've got, they have to spend a lot of money to get this thing built. They've got, back-end investors and things like that. And so, but this is one of those things that very likely at the end of the day, investors are going to lose their investment. It's not going to make money.
Well, yeah, you could go down to 600 square feet.
Right, they show all those pictures, but you're getting a square building with nothing in it. And look at every single one of those. Has nothing good. It's all show.
It's got your name all over it.
Look at all those pictures of people that don't know anything about anything. It's all garbage.
Ooh,
so we're looking at the photos on the Enclave in Tampa.
TheMotorEnclave.com.
Yeah.
Ooh, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
3D tour.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that's you.
Yeah, that's all me right there. See 59 in Pit Lane, Wayne's Garage.
Let's see what kind of whiskey selection they have. Oh, not a very good one. Yeah, they can't even do that right. That's not good.
But see, I don't have that get drunk, hang out thing, so maybe I would. But this is every guy's dream. It's cheesy as crap. But they're not doing. I don't think they're doing this. And look at that. It's just a metal building. It's just a cheap metal building. So I don't know. I'm going to go down. Maybe my opinion will change, but when I have an experience.
That's your favorite.
What is that?
Corvette.
Oh yeah, Corvette bumper hanging on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
This is garage design. This is what people think garage design is.
Those chairs do look nice. I like the chairs. I could sit in one of those for a while. I do.
Oh my gosh.
No, couch isn't long enough.
Guaranteed. That's luxury vinyl right there. Yep. Yep. You got to have the LED strip in the stairs, right? And heaven forbid you do like a decent handrail. It's it's pine handrail. Yeah, and the pine doors. It's like that guaranteed. That's a 63-year-old man who's has no style. Wears a
That's his last name, I bet, right there.
There's your Apple that's your audio system. That's your surround sound system, an AirPod. Or whatever that stupid thing, Apple Pod.
Let's check out the bathroom. Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Brown toilet. Yeah.
You could play Wu-Tang on
but they're
jukebox.
showing you what you could do. They don't know how to do any of this. They're not doing this, so they're just giving you the blank slate. I guarantee it.
See, that's where you need to talk to these guys and tell them you have garage design and let them design all these things.
Yeah, but here's the problem. These old men,
they don't want to pay for that.
Well, they don't want to pay for it. But they end up paying 3 times more than to get that douche mode with all the accoutrements instead of anything functional, And then how many times I've been contacted by all these guys that do have the idea, they are in the process. We want you to be our person. I've never done one, not one garage ever. I think Kyle and the design guys have done a couple, and so that's yeah. The whole garage guy's dream of we're going to do it this way is freaking stupid.
MKY God wants to know, is Jescar Powerlock Plus still your paint sealant of choice? Have you looked into Ultralock Plus or any other sealants or waxes?
Yeah, I have a bottle of it, but it's pretty much dead. I mean, you'd only do the sealant as if you didn't know how to do a coating at this point. Or you just were looking to hold you over and put in between coatings or something, like you got a car that you were going to do a bunch of modifications to, and you didn't want to polish yet, but you wanted to get some sort of protection on it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if Ultralock is any good. I don't know if Ultralock plays well with Colonite. And if it doesn't, then I wouldn't want it.
Scott Taylor is in the process of planning to paint his bathroom and kitchen. Do you have any shades of white you recommend, and what type of finish?
Yeah, I like alabaster a lot. It's a kind of a slightly cream white. I like pure white. So alabaster, I believe, is a Benjamin Moore color. That's the color that we painted the exterior of my house, is alabaster. That's the color we painted our cabinets in the Woodgate house. Pure white is also a good white from Sherwin-Williams. That's a color that we paint like ceilings and stuff, and like we painted the Helen ceiling and the trim pure white. If you have like brown hues, White Dove, Benjamin Moore's White Dove is another good color. But that one is if you have like grays and stuff, it doesn't play very well because it's pretty. There's a little bit of brown in it, a bit of tan in it. But those are my 3 favorite whites. Alabaster's my favorite.
Joseph in the chat says, "Happy Friday. Glad you're back. 2 questions for you today. Number 1, what is Matt's record for peanut butter cups consumed in one sitting?" A lot.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't tried, but I'm sure it would be in the dozens. You talking about like Reese's peanut butter cups?
Yeah, Reese's. Like a single Reese's peanut butter cup. I bet you could eat 20 plus.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I might be hurting if I go to that level, but yeah, 20, 30.
10.
10. That'd be a little snack. Yeah. I have an innate or an uncanny ability to consume the worst food for you possible.
All right, second question. I got some sap on my auto scrub. Is there a way to get it off, or should I just replace?
I mean, you could try some Tarex on there, but it might gum it up. But yeah, I mean, you try some Tarex on it, see if it gets it off.
All right, our friend Chris Kim out there out west says Utah housing market is slowing down. Might be some good deals on the horizon.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't have any good deal money, let alone not good deal money. So we're still in the throes of Helen. I don't want multiple houses. I mean, I'm not done with that one, and I've got at least another month and a half worth of my labor to go up there and do what I have planned to date. started looking at elevators and how that would go for phase 5, which would be later next year. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. The house feels really good. So everything else from here is a bonus. The house could stay as it is forever, but I want to do the closets, I want to do the outdoor kitchen. Those would be bonuses.
Jacob says, I'm purchasing an Active 2.0. It comes with 4.0 nozzles, but do you recommend other nozzles for a small detail business using that machine? What's the sweet spot? 3.5, 4, 5, pressure, GPM, etc.
Yeah, what was I using? 5. I like 5.0 better. But I think that whatever size you choose, you just want the 25 degree as well, so you can, if you're detailing.
All right, someone asked here, I'll get their name in a second, about the black bucket package. Are they the 6-gallon buckets, just like the white ones?
Yes.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. And we Letica, it seems like one of the reasons why we didn't do black in the past is a lot of the buckets that I tried had, they were kind of splotchy. They weren't like a consistent black. These are pretty good. It's a pretty cool setup. I might make the transition myself.
Yeah, we've already sold like 37 of those things. That's pretty amazing. But yeah, black bucket package, 6 gallons. Yes. Let's see. Here's the really important question, Maddie. What do you think of Top Gun Maverick?
I love it.
I did too. That was awesome.
It's one of the first really great future classic movie in a long. What would be the last one before this? I can't think of any great movies that oh man, this is on my all-time list.
And it's supposed to come out for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then it was delayed because of COVID and whatever else.
See why. It's the last great one they had in their deck, It's great. There was no woke nonsense. There was no, unnecessary killing and stuff. Nobody died. It's just great. They paid nostalgia without cheesiness. They fit in. They fit in Goose's son. They fit in who's his what's his face Val Kilmer. Yeah. They fit Iceman in, and it made a lot of sense. And then Jennifer Connelly's driving an air-cooled Porsche was pretty sick. They knew what was up. They knew what was cool. That is a great movie. I've watched it 3 or 4 times already, and the soundtrack is amazing. The cinematography, the video quality is amazing. It's freaking cool.
Yeah, that one, I hadn't been to a movie theater in 6 years, and I went for that one.
I watched it at home when I finished the theater here.
Sounded good?
Yeah, it's amazing, yeah.
All right, Robert Thomas says, BMW M2 CS giveaway. The minimalistic hex shirt is sold out in my size. Is reserve your spot only available for non-giveaway items? When it comes to apparel, yes, because if we did place an order for more, it's going to take weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks.
Yeah, and then everybody would be complaining, and then they're canceling, and yeah.
So we don't want to do that. We'll just order more next time, maybe. Let's see. Jimmy says, so excited to get my blue Hex keychain. It looks so clean on the website. I've been looking for a premium feeling keychain for a while now.
It's pretty good, yeah. Which one did he do? The Hex, or did he do
the blue Hex?
Like the racing one or the other one?
Well, he says Hex, so probably the one that's
that one's it's nice. How much are those?
Let's look it up. Let's see. Those are $10 a piece.
Yeah, so those are $10. The other one, the $35 one, those are super high quality. Titanium. But I think you'll still like the little little $10 ones are a version of the it wasn't $170 or something. The one that we had made by the jeweler,
real
jeweler buddy.
Yeah,
with real silver plated and things like that. So it's cool. I think you'll like it, but just don't get too excited. It's $10, And $10, and I'm assuming we probably pay $4 for them or something like that, So, but it's kind of cool looking. It's super lightweight, and so it isn't annoying.
Those are good too.
The racing version of the key tags, those are my favorite. Those are really cool.
And the skate decks, we already had one of them sell out.
Yeah,
I think another one did today, so those are going pretty quickly as well. It's cool to see.
Yeah,
all the tchotchkes flying out the door. Jeremy says, us normies with quick jacks need a Viper creeper to match the chair. Most creepers I found have the same garbage casters that strip out after the first use.
Yeah, I think they have it in their queue to make something. The Aero creeper is pretty cool. The one that Scott does, that one works pretty well.
Couple quick Swiss Tracks questions for you. Why do you prefer Swiss Tracks versus Race Deck? Skip wants to know.
It's changed a little bit because Racetech has a few different options, but the interlocking system is very, very different. The loop and peg system that Swiss Tracks uses is much more stout. I'm pretty sure all of Racetech is still a 1/2 inch thick. So Racetech has a bigger tile now, but it's a 1/2 inch thick. That the versus 3/4. So that 3/4 inch thick tile is a huge advantage. So when you take the thicker tile. And you take the, because Racetech used to only have 12 by 12 tiles. So Racetech used to be like the, smaller tile, not as good of an interlocking system, not as dense. It just wasn't as good of a looking of a tile. Well, now they have a bigger tile, but I think it's still pretty thin. The big Swiss Tracks advantage is the interlocking system. It's just way better. It's worth every penny, the difference between the two. One, if you gave me Racetech, I would throw it away. I wouldn't put it in my garage, and that's one of the reasons why I never. Because Racetech is the original, and I struggle with that for a little bit because Swiss Tracks in some instances probably copied some of the design. I don't think there's any issues patent wise, but it's just better.
Similar question here from Eric S. How are you liking the pearl gray Swiss Tracks you used as a border in the Helen house? I'm debating the slate versus the pearl gray, and I know you tend to lean towards slate in most of your garages.
Yeah, I don't like pearl as much. I would do slate every time, but you know me. I like the matte finish, not the shiny finish on pretty much anything. And it goes really well if you paint your walls matte, and it's just really smooth looking.
RTC says you should cut the weight, Matt. Just fast for a few days. Water only.
That won't do it. That wouldn't do it for me. I wouldn't lose that much weight. I'd lose like 3 or 4 pounds.
And our buddy Jeff Johnson in Oregon says graphene goes well on his Peloton.
Makes it faster, yeah.
Let's see. Jeff C says, I'm behind on the stream, but Absolute is a new rinseless wash, not waterless. There are some short-lived gloss enhancers in it, but they would be removed by drying aid or any other LSP.
Gotcha. So there's no waterless aspect to it. You would spray it out of the bottle, whatever the dilution. I gotcha. So basically a detail spray replacement kind of thing.
Let's see. RT says, what's the deal with sold out items for the giveaway? They are sold out, and we're not going to order more for the most part. Like that apparel, because that would take too long. Absolute is slicker than N914, 914 with as good or better cleaning ability and better water softening. I've had N914 cause etching from errant drips when mixed with hard water.
Interesting. Yeah, I would assume it's slicker because it's leaving something behind, and N914 doesn't leave anything. That's why it wouldn't be slick. That's part of why I like it so much.
Mikey wants to know, he says, you recommend a 4.5 orifice on the 1122, but I've only seen 4.0 during the testing. Is there a difference in GPM and pressure?
Not a whole heck of a lot, because I don't know if they changed the capacitor, but something 2 or 3 years ago, Krensla's, we found that some people were popping breakers with it, even just using the regular 4.0 nozzle. The Krensla OE nozzle's 4.2, right? That's the size of the nozzle, the orifice on the OE gun. And so, Krenzel's getting kind of cranky about it, and so we said, well, we made the transition to recommending 4.5. If it were me, I would still run a 4.0, but you didn't hear that from me. But if you have issues with your popping breakers or the things going into protection, then you'll know you need to stick with 4.5.
Jeps Z has a good question for you. He says, hey, Matt, what happens if someone in Canada wins the M2CS giveaway and can't answer the math question?
I'll figure out how to get it there.
And immediately, Matt gets to get it back. What is your go-to ceramic coating brand?
G-Technic and CarPro.
We have that in the store. Let's see. We need Matt to watch Yellowstone, says Jeffrey. I'm currently on season 9 of Heartland with a wife.
Yeah, I've seen Yellowstone twice, maybe 3 times. Yeah, Yellowstone's great. Fantastic.
All right, Mike Parker has a question. Bryce can probably chime in with this answer. I picked up the green, red, and blue shirts. Did you intentionally put the hex tag on the bottom of the green shirt on the bottom right side instead of the left, like all the other shirts I've got?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I got an old one. Mine doesn't have it.
Somebody was backwards in the sewing, probably.
Yeah. Let's see. J. Bentley Austin III. Wow, quite a name. If I place an order for the Active 2.0 right now, will I be getting one from the shipment y'all have coming in, or will it be from another one on a later date?
Yeah, no chance.
Yeah, way later.
Yeah, months later.
We have 700 that are claimed so far, and
How many's coming in?
243, about 420-ish
Yeah.
are coming in.
They'll come in pretty quickly, but you're probably a month and a half.
Yeah.
Because, Active won't be like Krenzel. They're bringing them over in the thousands, so, or they're bringing them over. They have thousands that are ordered, and they're bringing them over in the multiple hundreds. So, and it's only us and Active, I think, right now. So,
what is your favorite Generation M3? Charles wants to know.
E92.
All right, let's see. C-Mac wants to know, did Matt spring for the new iPhone 14 yet?
I freaking didn't get my order in. We were hiking, and then now they can't get one till like November. So I will get it though.
Let's see. And then he wanted to know which spec that would be.
I get the Max, 14 Max, and 128 gigabyte because I just use iCloud. And I don't keep a lot of stuff on the phone. So yeah, that's what I would order. I'd order black, the matte black version.
Let's see. Someone asked when the giveaway ends. Let me bring that up real quick. November I believe it's the 10th. Yeah, Thursday, November 10th is the end of the giveaway. So you got however many weeks that is away.
Yeah, I mean, it looking good. So maybe we'll do another one. With NSX would be my hope to do the next car. I've got to figure out. I'm going to call Active Auto Work on Monday. That I don't like the exhaust. It's a freaking drone crazy. I don't know if it's the resonators. I'm not sure.
All right, Alex Schneider in the chat says September 30th. That's today. Yeah. Canada dropping all COVID requirement for entering.
So now it's what's different?
Now you can moonwalk into Canada.
Yeah, what's so stupid? You can still get it. Now all of a sudden, okay, everything's okay. It's okay today. Not September 29th. Not September 28th. But October 1st, it's all good. You're good.
They know something we don't.
Dumbest, the stupidest things of all time. And none of these morons are ever going to apologize for it. Man, 1 million people died. No, they didn't. It's freaking nonsense.
All right, yeah. Jeffrey has a question for you. You answered this kind of in a recent video when you actually did an interior detail, as I recall. Matt, what do you use to clean the leather in your car?
Yeah, Color Lock mild or strong cleaner, depending on how greasy the leather's looking. You use the Color Lock brush, and you would wipe it, and then you would seal it or treat it with, I guess it's not called sealing, but you treat it with a leather shield. If your leather is older than 3 years, you would then clean it with strong or mild cleaner, depending on what you think you might need. And then you would put leather protection cream on first and then do leather shield. So the latest M2 video that I made, I talk about all that and show you how to do it. But Color Lock 100%. It's amazing.
All right, let's see. Steven, I can't pronounce that last name. What office chair does Maddie use/recommend?
This one's a human scale. I wouldn't recommend it. It's too wobbly and it makes a lot of noise. I've been using steel case. It's kind of okay, but you probably should just buy the Herman Miller and be done with it. I just don't like how the Herman Miller looks. Like Chris is on a Herman Miller here. Those are probably the better. Is that the Aeron or something?
Yeah, Aeron.
Yeah, that's sort of the standard. It is the most comfortable.
It's definitely comfortable. And this one's a size XL for you big guys out there. You can get a bigger one. Oh, here's a good question because I know the answer to this one. Ryan says, when will the Panamera Wash and Talk be uploaded?
It'll be up tomorrow. Tomorrow's video.
Let's see. Jonathan says, which car would you buy for about $60,000? Doesn't need to be a daily driver. I want it to feel nice and be fun.
60 grand. I'd probably buy a Supra. Yep. Either a Supra or like some version of a 3 Series BMW, whatever I could get,
All right, let's see. Wesley wants to know, what's the status on your GT3 Touring?
They're both in production. The G80 is on the water, so I should be doing Performance Center delivery of that, hopefully October, November. And then the I'm probably like 2 months out on the GT3. That thing, there's a paint to sample GT3 Touring listed at Hennessy Porsche for $390,000, $380,000. So Chris, if I got mine, what is it, 240 or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
If I had an offer for $400,000, should I take it?
Yes.
Here's the problem. I would take that and say, oh, I'm good. I would buy a $300,000 997 GT3 and a $220,000 GT3 RS, and I'd be in the whole $100,000. But I would justify it really strongly. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, that is pretty wild. I mean, who knows if that continues to hold up, but my car is going to be a pretty special car, so it would, if they were fetching that much money. But I'd contend, who the heck's going to spend $390 or $380? It's listed for that. Lots of people have been paying huge over sticker prices, but who? Why? I wouldn't. Yeah.
All right, Epiphany Detailing says, I just ran out of Wolf's glass sealant. I was surprised there's only one size now. What happened to the bigger bottle? We had too many issues with the leaking.
Is that what it is? Yeah, because the other one is like vacuum sealed, right? In a box.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like 50% of them would come in ruined and leaking.
They would get here leaking, and then we would do everything we could, and then ship them, and they would still.
We'd
leak.
even change the cap on them and everything, and they'd still somehow.
We put a plug in, change the cap.
Yeah, unbelievable.
It's just a mess. So that's why Epiphany Detailing. Sorry.
Yeah.
What happened? Matt Duffy wants to know to the last garage giveaway winner.
He just didn't get a garage. So did we send him the money?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
he offered for the
so
cash.
I'm paid off. Yeah, so
check has been cashed.
We just sent him a check for it because it was just he with the housing market kind of ran away from him, and he's a young guy, and so we just said, look, you gotta take the money. It's been a year and a half.
Yeah, it was a long time.
Yeah.
KP wants to know how many weeks have been booked at the Helen house.
I think 40.
I was going to say 40-ish.
Yeah, 40, 41, something like that. Somebody's there now. Somebody will be there next week. Then Pan and I are going. Mm-hmm. And then basically all of November, all of December is booked. It's awesome. It's awesome. We're toying with the idea, and I'm going to offer it very exclusively. I'm toying with the idea of like a 2-minute last minute or 2-week last minute thing. So if I have a week available, we're 2 weeks out. Mm-hmm. And what I don't want to do is cannibalize, and I don't want to dishonor all the people who have paid, paid the price to come there. Because now it costs about $6,300 when you pay the tax and the and the $5,500. So I'm gonna kind of keep it there for a while, and we'll see how many weeks, and then I'm gonna come up with some sort of discounted rate if you can get there in like a couple days. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so I'm gonna have a list, and we'll reach out to people who inquire about that, and I need to figure out how we're gonna build a list for that. If you go to destinationog.com, I think you can. So if you're interested in that possibility, like if $5,500 is just too outside your reach. I think there's a prompt to join the email list somewhere. Like maybe it pops up or something. I'm not sure how you would join the email list. Maybe somebody could chime in. So anyway, maybe we need to put a pop-up on here, and we're going to start with emailing, shoot an email to the people who requested an email. Hey, we've got November 1st to the 8th is available for some rate, some special number, or we're a week and a half out from February 10th, and that week hasn't been booked, and hey, we would send out, hey, last minute, if you can get there in 6 days, you can book it, that kind of thing, and that would be a discounted rate over the normal rate. That's what I'm thinking about doing.
All right, our buddy Brad out west says, if I win the M2, could you deliver it to the Helen house for my week when I'm there? Sure.
That'd be great.
Do you have any thoughts? This is from Jared on the 2024 Mustang Dark Horse.
I don't even know. I don't know what that is.
I think it's a fancier version.
So no thoughts, because I'm not a Mustang kind of guy.
All right. Since McGuire's hybrid dressing seems back in supply, will it return to the OG store?
Oh, yeah. What's going on with that? Can we get that?
I don't know. I'll check on that.
Yeah, we got to get the guys back on that. I need that.
James Giffen wants to know. We answered this earlier, James, so we'll answer it again just for you. 6-gallon buckets in the giveaway package? Yes.
Yes.
They are 6 gallons.
6 gallon only. That's the way to go.
Michael Alva says, speaking of window sealant, is there something you can use to polish the windshield before sealing it? I used to use McGuire's kit, and I can't find it anymore.
I just use a microfiber cutting pad and Jessica Correction Compound or Sonex Cut Max. But if you want glass polish, you could use CarPro Siri glass. But man, that stuff sucks to deal with. It sucks to get off. It sucks to polish with. It's not good.
Someone's offering condolences here for Heartland guy. Robert Cormier?
Yeah, Robert Cormier died. Yeah,
AKA Finn.
I don't know how he died. They weren't really saying, but he's he's been a cast member the last couple of years, and I think season 15 and 16.
Gotcha. Jim Yu wants to know, hey, Matt, what are your thoughts on the 2023 BMW M340i LCI? That's a lot of letters.
I don't know why anyone would buy an M340i. Wouldn't you just buy an M3? Especially since the M3 is now all-wheel drive. I think the delta there is $6,000 or $7,000. I would much rather have a base M3 over a 340.
Interesting. And
LCI in the old days was a big deal. It's like
what does that stand for?
It's life cycle something. Life cycle interrupter. Life cycle
impulse.
Impulse, yeah, which means that they make a change to the look or make a change to the car. Usually it's cosmetic and what it looks like different grills or different lights, or over the years it's been different things. So that it's a facelift, pre-new model. So it used to be like 4 or 5 years in they'd come out with the LCI model. Now it's like 6 months in, it seems like they have an LCI of the current model. It's freaking stupid. So it's kind of become dumb. So it used to be sort of a really big deal, but I don't think it's that big of a deal anymore. But yeah, that 340 to me, it's just get an M3. I'd much rather have an M3 with no options for in the same ballpark as an option to 340.
I am GT3 wants to know, have you given any thought to an Aston Martin giveaway?
No, I don't have any Aston Martin desire. My buddy Charles loves Aston Martins. To me, they just seem fat and bloated, and now I think they're all turbos, so I don't think they sound as good like they used to. And it's a British car. I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me.
All right, let's go back to Tommy's flight options.
Jaguar is the same, yeah.
So, this is Southwest.
Okay.
Orlando to Las Vegas. Leaving on Monday the 31st, coming back on the 5th like you had. So
no non-stops anymore. Look at that.
Let's see. Yeah, 1 stop, 2 stops, 1 stop, 2 stop.
Okay.
That does stink. But $208 if he leaves at 4:25 and gets there at 7:40.
Perfect. That will help him. That will help me pay less for him to get there, so that way I can pay top dollar to get there comfortably.
Use your same thing coming back.
Oh, you got to pay twice. See, it's going to be it's
$208 one way
times 2 plus tax plus so click on these two. It's going to be $900.
All right, so we'll get that one. We'll bring him back on the cheapest flight, just the way I like it. Let's see, $289. You got to leave. 8:10 a.m. That's fine. It's not too early.
That's way too early for me.
All right, so we get our points. That's good. Continue. I think it's $5.60 fee.
You're going to try to book them on your flight or on your account, aren't you?
I wish I could earn the points, but I'd have to put under my name. And
$496.
Under $500.
$500 for Southwest, though. You must just stick a fork in my eye. I'd rather pay $2,600 and fly Delta, especially since it's not nonstop. What about like Frontier or something? Who flies direct from Orlando to
Southwest? Used to. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe I did it 1 year and vowed I would never do it again. Never ever do it again.
Yeah, you used to have your Southwest points.
Oh, but then you have to pay for the early so you can get that stupid
if you want
seat.
The early bird, yeah.
That stupid seat.
That's a great seat.
Early bird is like saying, no, I'm not going to say it. I've insulted enough today. I've reached my insult quota.
That's the seat you're talking about.
Yeah, but then your head, so it curves. Your head kind of can't go all the way to the right.
It's worth it for my legs.
It's such a. You post that on Facebook when you get it too.
Of course, I got to tag Southwest so they like me and they send me coupons so I can go again later.
Horrible. the Mike Figuera and I were making we were watching The Bachelorette. The last couple of episodes when we were in Helen, just ragging on her. Well, the one girl who's a psychopath basket case is a Southwest pilot. That's going to be your pilot.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. Not my Delta bros. Those are the best in class.
Oh, yeah.
Best in class. Yeah.
All right. James wants to know, hey, Matt, I see you mainly use white and yellow pads. Why is that when you see so many others use all different color pads?
Well, it just depends on the brand. Rupes only has, 3 colors now, blue, white, and blue, yellow, and white. But, Lake Country has a bunch of different, like their HDO pads are nice too. They have a bunch of different colors, different color codes, or Chemicals guys, Hexalogic pads are real popular for people. But I'm using Rupes, and that's just the 2 colors. And I very rarely use white. I'm almost always using yellow.
This is from CMAC. Are you still thinking of going through with the Rivian R1S pre-order?
I think so. We'll see when we get closer to it. I think it would be a nice family car to have. Because Michelle's driving that darn Raptor, and I think she would still have the Raptor and drive it often. But it'd be nice to have for car line, because she sits there in car line. But we'd want the Raptor for football, Throwing pads, all the crap you need is you can't beat the Raptor with a bed cover. So I think so. I mean, I think I'd probably get it, and then keep it for a while. And if they're still super hard to get, it'd probably be worth something. If I had it and drove it, and we didn't like it, I'd probably sell it.
All right, a couple more questions here. Stint Placer wants to know, hey, Chris and Matt, why does my Crinzler need to be reset from plug every time I want to start it? I have a 20-amp plug.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know that one either. Thought you might.
Something. Every time he pulls the trigger, or every time he plugs it in for
every
the first
time I want to start it.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you plug it in, that's the way they work. You have to engage it, press the button. I don't know why it does that. I don't know why that's a requirement. I think that's a UL thing. Because it's a GFCI, you have to engage it. And as soon as it hits, as soon as you unplug it, it goes into protection mode. I think there's got to be some sort of UL safety reason for that. I thought he meant like every time he pulled the trigger, he has to go reset it. But yeah, no, that is normal. I'm not sure why though.
Steve Rose wants to know, is there a nice 2-way hose splitter out there?
Does Ely have one? I think they might. I think Ely has one, and that would be the standard.
Garden hose 2-way Y.
That's it.
$43.99. ElyHoseReels.com.
Yep, that's the one.
Ken says Allegiant flies direct from Sanford to Vegas, but you may arrive in a casket.
Let's give me a little gander at that. But it may not be the right days though. I need to go Monday to Saturday.
Thought you swore off Allegiant.
I'm kind of digging Allegiant after my exit row flight to Greenville, but that's only an hour flight. To sit in that seat, that brick.
It's not.
I didn't think there was a Las Vegas Allegiant flight.
Yeah, it's not bringing up Vegas for me, Ken.
He's making it up. Yeah, I wouldn't do it anyway. I'm flying Delta. I don't care what it costs. We got lots of points.
We do have lots of points.
Yeah.
All right, last one here. Cars with JR. Do you have any plans for your Lotus Emira, if it ever comes?
Who knows? Yeah. I don't usually get too excited until things on the way. It's in process. I don't know how much I'll like that experience, being as there won't be much of an aftermarket for quite some time. Like BMWs, you get a new launch BMW and people are chasing that real fast. It might be years before Emira has exhaust and things like that. We'll see. Who knows? I might really like that car. I'm kind of looking forward to that. Well,
let's see. Okay, I lied. One more question. This is a good one from Kevin. Okay. Kevin, Matt, I'm considering buying a house with just a big carport, no garage.
Mm-hmm.
After your wash bay a few houses ago, do you have any tips on how to live with just a wash bay? Should I pass and just keep looking for a garage?
Yeah, depending on where you live too. I wouldn't do it again, because the only reason I did that was because I was going to build the garage, and then I got the first quote for the garage, and it was cost prohibitive, and then I spent all my money on building obsessed garage, and so I never got it done, and then I just kept procrastinating, kept thinking, we're going to do it, not going to do it, going to do it. I wouldn't do it again. So,
okay.
Yeah.
There you go, Kevin. Keep looking. All right. Well, thank you all for the questions. We appreciate your time and watching us and supporting us. M2 giveaway is still live for another 6 weeks or so. So check that out when you get a chance, and we will see you guys next time.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. See you.